Welcome to the Good Intentions Show, coming to you live on the UI Radio Network. The Good Intentions Show is sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation at unitedintentions.org, a virtual community where you learn to create, track, and manifest your passions one intention at a time. Look for us on Blog Talk, Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, and many more. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram under United Intentions and on Twitter at Higher Intention. Yes, this is the Good Intentions Show, where you will meet people who live life intentionally and hear about things they're not telling you in the mainstream media. And now, here's the truth seeker, the snake charmer, a legend in his own mind, broadcasting live all over the universe, your host, Mr. Tim Ray.
Welcome to the Good Intentions Show. I am Tim Ray, and co-hosting the show with my dear friend Mark Stephen Puller. He's a radio host and an international best-selling author, and he has an incredible guest for us today, guys. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about her in a little while, but first let me just mention her name, Moira Bush. And she is a TV host and does color therapy. Guys, we're talking about colors, color psychology. What's it like to dress yourself? Who knows what else we'll be learning about. But in the meantime, Mark, hello. How you doing, Mark?
Hi, Tim. It's great to be here. Looking forward to another amazing show. Great to have Moira here. And just for the record, she does an amazing spread. I had the pleasure of going to her house and she cooks the best food.
Well, it looks like I may have to take a trip to the UK just to enjoy the spread, as you say, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about that too when we bring her on. But Mark, real quick here, tell me how you've been. How's the UK treating you out there, and anything new that you've been involved in?
Everything is going amazing. Just firstly, Moira is actually in Canada, and it's a beautiful place where she lives. Everything is going great, Tim. I'm really enjoying co-hosting this show.
Same here.
Speaking to such incredible guests. I'm just doing so many things at the moment. Life is really good.
You are a very busy bee, as I see and keep up with you. I can't even keep up with you, Mark. You got it rocking and rolling out there. So let's say hello to all our 99.1 listeners out there, WDJY and our WTTA 101.1 in Kentucky, Ohio. And, of course, our Atlanteans Talk 10 FM, and our Binge TV. We forget about Binge TV, guys. We're on Smart TV. Smart TV. I'm learning. I didn't know TVs were so smart. Now I kind of know. Roku and what else do they talk these? Apple TV. I mean, this is crazy. What a new world we're going into. This is just like grab on your hat. Let's go. It's roller coaster time, but it's fascinating and exciting at the same time. Also, guys, we have our app, uimediaapp.com, uimediaapp.com. Download that now. Get involved, and you can listen to the shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And our goal is to become the UI Media Network, become a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week conscious media for everyone out there who really wants to look at life and look at a perspective of uniting our intentions. What we do here, UI Media Network is United Intentions Media Network. We unite our intentions collectively for the goodness and greatness of this world, of the individuals, of collectively what we can do to bring a better world, heaven as earth, as they say. And this is how we do it. This is the formula. Intentions, the power of intention. And this is what we'll be discussing all throughout our shows and why we're even here for the first place. So without further ado, Mark, let's bring in our guest, Moira Bush. Mark, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello.
Now, Moira, you're a TV host, and also you've been educating international entrepreneurs for over 25 years. So when you say you're also an author as well, authority in the field of color psychology, using color to mirrors systems as a tool for personal and business financial growth. This seems so unrelated. I mean, you're going to have to connect the dots here. How can you use color to actually help your business?
Colors is a frequency. It's like sound. Sound is a frequency. And if you surround yourself with certain frequencies, whether it's colors or sound, you change, your mood change. You have a physiological response to color. So research has shown that if you put a man in a red room, the blood pressure goes up, his temperature goes up, his heart rate increases. Put him in a blue room or put blue lights on the same person, and everything drops. So we cannot help but have a reaction to color. And when you understand what those colors mean, you can start applying it to various parts of your life, including your business.
I guess it varies whether it's subtle effect to substantial effect on the person or on the color.
It has an effect on the person.
Well,
so
is the effect on the person? I guess it ranges from being a subtle effect to a substantial effect, depending on the person or depending on what.
No, color just has an effect on you. Color will just, it's like, if we all listen to a piece of music that moves you, everybody will be moved. If there was somebody in the room that wasn't moved, there'd have to be, a serious psychological or hearing problem. Colors is the same. So you put a lot of people in the blue room, they're all going to react in the same way. It's almost a known factual science, and I use it as a diagnostic system, and it is 100% accurate.
Yeah, Mark, have you seen this in action?
I certainly have. I've had the pleasure of having a reading one-to-one with Moira and actually having a great bottle of her colour essential oils. Tell us a little bit more about it, Moira. How does it work? What does it do for people?
All right. So the wall of colors that are behind me right now, and you've been in my studio and in my practice, so you've actually seen this for yourself, Mark. What I ask somebody who wants to help with their business or with their personal life, their finances, their health, is to pick a bottle. And this is actually something that I demonstrate on the Magenta Show. It's the reason I do the Magenta Show, is to raise awareness on how color.
That's where you're a TV host, Maura.
That's right. Yeah. So the whole reason I do the show.
Magenta is a color, isn't it? Is magenta a color? Okay. Hey, okay.
The Magenta Show?
Yeah. The magenta being a color.
Magenta is a color, yes. I'll actually I'll tell you a little bit about it. And so when somebody comes to my studio, whether they're a guest or a client coming to the practice, I ask them to pick a bottle to represent the problem that they currently have, the block that they have. Because, I love that you called United Intentions and the Good Intentions Show. I love it because intentions are very, very important. And we set a lot of intentions to change things in our lives, but very often we hit stumbling blocks, and they are blocks that could be in our unconscious that we're not aware of, that counter intend, all the good things we want in our lives. So the colors will bring to the conscious mind always, every single time, 100% of the time, what lies in your unconscious that is actually blocking your good intentions from coming into fruition. So that diagnostic tool just works.
So colors, you're telling me this. Let me just paraphrase what you just said, Maura. So you're saying the frequency of a certain specific color, which everything has its own thumbprint or its own unique frequency, that actually can stimulate repressed subconscious beliefs or feelings or emotions, can help release this, which often they get not only lodged into our electrical field, but into our body tissues. So colors can release these subconscious beliefs, not just in the mind, but wherever it's located in the body. Release this and have her bring it to your consciousness, or
absolutely. And the reason it's 100% accurate is I want you to I'll give you an example. When a woman comes to me and she's wearing a lot of green colors, I know that because she's wearing green, she's had issues around the heart, the heart chakra area, the green area. So there's a divorce, and that there's an imminent divorce, there's heartache, there's been some form of emotional abuse happening to her. And physically, I know this could indicate that there's a problem with the heart or the lungs. So the colors they wear, there is a specific language, a specific physiology and diagnosis that goes with a color. And then when you start bringing in combinations, so for example, if they start wearing red and green, I know they're separating. I know that the divorce is actually in process or it has just happened. So when you bring colors in, it gives you a different bit of information.
Wow.
And the reason people start craving green when they have these issues is because they're leaking that energy from their body, because we get all our energy and life force from the sun. And it comes through. So Isaac Newton proved it. You put light through a prism, and it gives you all the rainbow colors. So we absorb different frequencies of colors into different parts of the body, and that's what the chakras are. They pull in different colors. So the green goes into the heart, the red goes into the base. And interestingly enough, when somebody wears a lot of red, I know they got backache, and I know they got money problems.
Wow.
Can I ask, Moira? How are they used, how are they applied, and what benefits and advantage do they have to people for using the essential oils and using the colours? Explain in a little bit more detail.
So the color mirror system is made by Melissa Jolly. She founded the system in 2001 in South Africa. And I started training with her in 2003. And in 2004, I was actually living in the UK at the time. She's from South Africa. I just said to her, this stuff works, because suddenly my life changed literally overnight. Issues my son had literally changed overnight. And it was in a period of weeks. And when I say overnight, I mean in a couple of weeks, yeah. And I knew that this was very, very powerful. So I wanted to study the color psychology with her. But what really did it was immersing our bodies into the oils and water. So she makes the oils and water, and I've got a bottle here to show you. So this is solid gold on top, and this is magenta at the bottom. This bottle is called Satori. So when people pick this bottle, I just did a talk, by the way, in Canada on my first public professional speaking debut in Canada. And I spoke about this bottle, Satori, which is a Zen Buddhist name for bliss and enlightenment. And I explained that when people bathe in this color combination, so you pour it in a bath, the frequencies go into the cells, it changes the way you think, it changes the way you feel, it changes the way you respond to things. And we have to sometimes just say it's a bit of magic, but it just happens. So whatever Melissa, when she creates these bottles, when she makes them and infuses them with her intention, she has a lot of intentions, which is about that they will serve you and act as a mirror for you and act as an agent to bring to your conscious mind the things that you want to heal. That they just do it.
Let's discuss that for a second, because you touched on something, this combination between intention and frequency of color to be in a critical combination. Not that it wouldn't work probably with either one, but when combined, it seems to be more of a exponential impact. So
yes, it definitely amplifies.
Okay, it amplifies it, right? Okay, so I'm sure you heard of is it Azumato, who does freezes the water molecules, and then through intention.
Emoto, yeah.
Emoto, that's it. And Emoto, and then he actually, through intention, he could actually create a molecule to look symmetrical or asymmetrical based on a negative or positive frequency. And we know to this day that our thoughts have certain properties to it. A negative frequency thought has a different effect on the body. So when combined with a different color, and I would assume each color, neither one's more powerful than the other on the rainbow. Roy G. Biv. Anybody know that one, or is it just me? On the rainbow color scheme. So when intention is combined with this color, it doesn't matter what the color is, unless the color is giving off a certain, like you said, green for heart chakra, right? So with an intention with a green color would be, you would want the intention to be more around the love aspect of a heart. It would be more powerful if the intention matched the actual color purpose.
It does enhance it. And but I always believe that, you know, color is the amplifier of the intention. I think your intention needs to come first. And if for example, let's say you want more love in your life, and we teach you that the color green or pink are the colors that will bring you more love. It's great to go out and do the green and the pink colors and bring it in, but and that will amplify your intentions. But I believe that if somebody grew up and they had a specific childhood experience. So they had a mother that absolutely adored them, that loved them. They had a father that absolutely adored them and loved them. And these two people loved wearing blues. It could be that this person is going to associate wearing more blue and using blue to attract love into their life, and not actually go down the route of the green and the pink. So I think that this is why we don't prescribe colors, because I can say, yes, greens and pinks are going to bring you, it's heart colors, they're going to bring you more love, but I can also, because we know what people's psychology and intentions are, that they need to pick the color associated to love for them.
That makes a lot of sense, Moira. We're just coming to the break, and I really want to talk to you more about your shadow work, and really interesting. Let's pick up this conversation after the break.
Thank you.
It's time to wake up, Atlanta. Wake up your inner self to the power of your intentions. Wake up to co-create the life you desire. Wake up to a conscious way of looking at the world with the uncensored Shannon McVeigh and the conscious voice of the South, Tim Ray. Tune in to Awaken Atlanta on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation, and discover a whole new way of looking at the world as we bring to you everything from wellness to entertainment, motivation to current events, games, contests, prizes, and much more. Listen to us on Spreaker and watch us live on Facebook at United Intentions every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern. You can follow us on Instagram at United Intentions and on Twitter at Higher Intentions. We hope to see you there.
This is UI Media Network's show on WTTA 101.2 FM, and we bring authentic content to you. So stay tuned.
All right, that was Dr. Antoine. Little introduction there for us. We are back with Moira Bush, and we are talking about colors and color therapy. And she's also a TV host on Magenta, the show called Magenta Show. And we were just, before we left, Mark and I were discussing with her in reference to the frequency and the light and the power of intention with the concert of the intention and the color. Now, each color, I guess, has its own purpose or frequency or what they're there to amplify. Intention, if aligned, would amplify it even further. So no color is better than the other. They're just different purposes?
Yes.
Okay. So with that being said, how does this frequency, because everything is frequency, and you're saying certain colors absorb different parts of our body and helps it free up or helps it perhaps flow in a more productive way energetically?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Yeah. How does that work?
It's because it's a vibration. And, if you were to take a speaker and you put music on and you put the speaker full blast and you put metal filings on top, those metal filings arrange themselves in a shape. So sound is a part of creation. And of course, every color is associated or is a frequency of sound. So we are actually, as human beings, and the whole universe that we occupy in was created through sound and through colors. That is how we exist. Our most natural state of being is to vibrate with a sound and with a color. And if you look at Kirlian photography, when they take, have you ever seen those aura photographs?
Yes.
When they take pictures of people with, So we emanating, absorbing color from the sun, and we're emanating colors all the time. And just depending on the level of stress we're in, that's the color that we leak out. And that is that filter that then is the filter. You pick your green shirt to wear to work today, or your blue shirt or your black shirt, because those are the colors that you have around you. You have a filter you can't see. So even if you make choices with food, you're going to order and choose to eat certain foods based on some colors. And as far as the how it works, and it vibrates at a DNA at a cellular level, because it's such a color is such a intricate part of who we are. We are color rainbow beings, that it cannot help but do what it naturally is designed to do, which is to bring to the surface what we don't know about ourselves.
Mark, I just realized that there are 7 colors, primary colors, right? Roy G. Biv, 7 colors, and there's 7 chakras, and each one has its own color. And so
Yes.
based on what we're focusing on, if we're having a problem with wisdom, we're very much with wisdom, we would have more of a blue or whatever the third eye chakra is, more resonating that. And that's fascinating. So it seems so easy to understand when you look at it from that perspective. So based on what we're experiencing, because the sun has all the colors, and we need the sun to survive. We need it just like a plant does.
Without sun, we did. Without colors, we did. We are made up of colors. I just wanted to mention something really interesting about the chakras. We're very for thousands of years now, we've believed that the chakra colors are, in the base it's red, and it's orange and yellow and green in the heart and blue in the throat, indigo and violet. Those colors have changed. when since the 1980s, the frequencies of the colors that we are able to absorb from the sun has become more pastel, they've become higher frequency, because we're going through an evolution on this planet right now. Human consciousness is expanding. We're becoming more self-aware of one another, and we're becoming more aware of ourselves as a unit, as a solid unit, as a group consciousness. And because our frequency and our consciousness is changing, the frequencies of the colors we're absorbing into our bodies is changing. So some of the exciting colors, this is one of the things that's taught by the color mirrors practitioners worldwide, is that, for example, the green of the heart, you find very few people with green in the heart now. They've got pinks and lilacs in the heart. So wow. And if you think about green is the color of envy and jealousy. I want what you have. If you don't give it to me, I'll put on my green camouflage, take a gun, mow you down, and steal your land. So we've always done green in a very, very warlike, conditional, possessive way. Even our marriage vows is, I promise to honor, obey, and love you. So the obey is in there with green.
Amazing. That's to the heart.
Yes. So if you look at how the millennials have been teaching us about love, and this new generation has been teaching us about love, and how the consciousness has shifted, and all the spiritual work that we're doing to increase our frequencies is changing. It's pink and lilac. Lilac says your spirit coming through your heart, and pink says unconditional love and self-acceptance of yourself and others. So there's this spiritualization of the heart happening that's moving that green out of the human body's frequencies.
Mark, this just blows my mind how it's such a science to it. If you really slow it down, and I guess Moira, she actually does this as her main focus in her day-to-day life. But it's amazing to me how when you get this type of understanding of the colors, and you could actually change your behavior, or say change your state of being based on a color that you allow in your life, like whether
Yes.
it's clothes or bathing in a certain color, or I don't know, what are the other ways we can shift our color? Shifted color. This should be a shirt.
Decorating in it, and it's just surrounding yourself with those colors that you want. I wrote a book, and it's called 8 Colors of Prosperity, and Mark can actually show you the cover there. And and actually went on the 8 colors that are related to our chakra system, but the pastel shades, the new colors, the new higher frequencies. So instead of saying red in the base chakra, I used pink. And I know that if you wear a lot of pink, you're going to attract more love and money into your life. And if you, for example, the magenta color is the color that is going to bring you more divinity. It's going to bring you more leadership qualities, and it's going to make you want to serve from a higher consciousness, a divine space. So I covered all the colors, the new colors. There's platinum in there, there's coral in there, there's pale gold in there.
You made a great point, Moira. I do feel like the consciousness of the world is definitely rising, and we are becoming more self-aware. I feel people are collaborating together a lot more. And I think you summed it up really well about colours that your parents would wear, and then you associate with that colour. It's a little bit like when I'm doing advertising, I try to steer away from the colour red, because people associate danger with the colour red.
They also assume that all you want from them is money, because red represents, it's quite an aggressive color, it's a passionate color. So you have to look at various color combinations when you do advertising. What is the message that you put out there? And I often have this conversation with entrepreneurs as well, is if you're a salesperson, you just want to make sales and make profit, red is a really good color. But if you want to build a relationship with your client, if you want to get to have a longer term relationship with them, it's not just a once-off sale, it's long term. You want to put some blues in there. You want to say, I care about you. Blues is about the emotional body.
So red, Moira, is the root chakra?
Yes.
Okay, and I wonder why that is so exciting, because it's tied to the earth and everyone else, right? Or
Yes. Well, red. We're all born through the base chakra, so our first contact with the world is red. So we understand that red means survival, because the minute we out of our mother's womb,
first breath,
we have to start surviving. We have to breathe. We have to get nourishment. We have to be taken care of.
Wow, so fascinating. Okay, so I'm the average Joe, right? And I'm new to now color therapy, or colors, and the impact that it has not only what I wear, but what I actually colors I allow into me, because I'm getting all the whole rainbow colors immediately. Every time I'm in the sun, I'm getting those rainbow colors, right? Um, and I have an aura. My whole aura, it's like a scent, you know, in a way. Like based on what you eat and everything else, you have this overall scent, and maybe who
Yes.
you are and yourself. Same thing with colors. We have this overall color, and there are machines that could actually measure your multiple colors, right? And I assuming that there may be a predominant overall color aura based on this combination of what you got going on and our chakras being closed down or not working well or working very well or overused or unbalanced, whatever it may be, our colors change
Yes, they
throughout our
do.
day.
Yeah, they change. They change. When your mood changes, your colors are going to change. What I found with my clients is when they have a long-term issue going on. So now, for example, they've got financial struggles going on. Then the colors of struggle are going to be around them for a long time. It'll be a predominant color mixing in with some of the other colors around them. I think, yeah.
Okay.
If I look at Tim, if I look at your aura, you've got something a little bit unusual in your auric field, because I'm fortunate when I'm tuned in and I can channel. I don't need the cameras to do it. I can actually see some colors, and I see yellows and golds around you, and yellows and golds are all the colors of someone who's intellectual and who loves studying and reading, and who is someone heading for success. This is because gold is about I'm in my power. I love what I do. And you're having fun with it. So the yellow and gold colors in your aura are actually quite beautiful.
So knowing that, what you described to me, and which I happily agree, but how how do I amplify that? I wear black and gold shirts, and that's my new wardrobe. That's a nice song, black and gold.
Yeah, you could have more golds and yellows around you to amplify that.
Okay.
But the fact is that is around your auric right now. So it says that you've got a good handle on how to build a success with what you're doing. But I love the yellow in there, because that's that little boy childlike playfulness. So you could, even if you knew what the color yellow meant, you could also just have more time out to play.
No kidding.
I quite like the intellectual, Tim.
Yeah, the immature intellectual. I love it. So is the solar plex the yellow color?
Yes, it's your power center, and that's turning gold with the new colors we're absorbing. We're changing that into gold.
Right. So your visual span for you, Maura, unlike perhaps, because I know a handful of people who do what you do. They actually see colors. They see their visual bandwidth is bigger, is longer, is stretched out more than our average human's bandwidth to perceive. Right. And so it's really not so much a sixth sense. It's an expansion of our five senses. Some people are much more sensitive to, such as yourself. And when you tune into that, how does that help you make decisions in your life?
Well, I don't make decisions for the clients when I see them. And it's more that they come in. And again, even though I can see their colors and their energy, because I read energy around them, I wait for them to pick a color. So if they tell me they have a problem, they don't know what it is, I say to them, pick a bottle. Then I have a conversation with them about the bottle and the colors, because I find that if you go into psychic mode and you start giving a psychic reading to somebody, it's almost as if you're saying, I know something you don't know.
Right.
So I use my psychic energy and the ability, that bandwidth I have, as almost like a backdrop. And just that I know what I'm dealing with the clients. I used to do a lot of psychic readings. I went to spiritual churches, and I could do mediumship and talk to dead people. But I found with a color mirror system, what's interesting is that I'm not telling them anything they don't already know, because the minute they pick a bottle, now, for example, the Satori bottle I was holding up earlier on, when somebody picks this bottle up, I know they will know that gold says, I want to pursue power, I want to be wealthy. The magenta underneath says that they're missing something, because this is what's in your unconscious. So this says here that they need to have a divine connection to make that gold a reality for them. Now, I could see that in the aura and have that conversation, but because they picked the bottle, I have the conversation and go, oh, I picked these colors, this must be true.
Wow.
Moira, that's so interesting. We need to go to our next break. If you want to ask Moira a question, please call in 678-495-4345. I want to get to the shadow work. I'm even more excited about that. Join us after the break.
Download the UI Media Smart app at uimediaapp.com to watch and listen to all your favorite shows anytime from anywhere in the world. Shows that enrich, entertain, educate, and feeds the conscious cells throughout your body. We bring you never heard before topics in health, inspiration, music, psychics, numerology, current affairs, controversies, and much, much more. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.uimediaapp.com and start raising your frequency now.
All right, we are back with Mark Stephen Pooler, radio host and international best-selling author, and of course our special guest, Moira Bush. She's a TV host, as well as just a person who could see people's frequencies, light frequencies. Come on, color frequencies. Who has this on shows? Huh? We do at the UI Media Network. Thank you, Mark. So we're discussing the different frequencies and the colors, and Mark he's just like biting on his fingernails. He wants to get into the shadow work here. And so let's set this up, and I'll tell you what my understanding of it is, and you tell me if we're correct, Mar, and then jump into where Mark's wanting to lead us here. So shadow work is we all have our darkness. We're all beings. We all are self-critical of ourselves, and we all do things that are perhaps not serving our higher self, serving ourselves. And it's a learning experience because we're disconnected from source, at least on an illusionary level here, and we're trying to figure things out based the best way we can here in this three-dimensional world. And sometimes you got to look at the ugly stuff that you're doing or thinking or believing or going into to look at it for the first time and shine light on it. Would that be kind of similar to what you think shadow work is to you?
Yeah, it is.
All right. How does color therapy deal with shadow work then?
Well, first of all, in the book, 8 Colors of Prosperity, I wrote how that pink can activate love and money, coral can activate sex and intimacy and luxury, and gold can activate authentic power, and so on. I also wrote about what the counter activations are. So, for example, for every good intention we set out there, 50% our shadow side is going to try to not make it happen. Its entire job is to make sure you don't claim your power, you don't claim your light, you don't step into that authenticity. So those counter intentions is what I like to teach people, and I have a gift for it. I just can't say I like teaching people. It's just horrible.
Is that the subconscious?
Devils, but it seems to be what I'm good at doing.
That's good. But is that the subconscious mind that doing this,
Yes.
bouncing back or pushing back on the
Yes.
conscious intention because of it's not some outside energy or entity. It's just something that we learned this lifetime, or is it something that we're coded to?
It can be past lifetimes. It could be passed down the codes of the family gene pool. It could be learned behavior. But the subconscious is interesting because that is what we are semi-aware of. We know when we've said something bad, and we go, oh, I shouldn't do that next time. It's also where color comes in, is it can go into the unconscious, the stuff we absolutely have no clue. If you think about all the family gene pool and what you've inherited in the family gene pool, you don't know 7 generations back what your family's beliefs were and what their fears were and their phobias and what they got up to. And that stuff, that's residual information that lies in the genes that gets passing down through the generations.
Wonderful.
One of the things I work with and I'm very passionate about is the poverty patterns that get passed down the generational pool. And because you find it's a very, very difficult pattern to break out of, because that's obviously a pattern I was born into. But I didn't know how deep it was until I discovered color therapy, and I was able to go use it to go into my unconscious, bring it to the surface, and now work with my poverty consciously.
Just a great tool on that. Go ahead, Mark. Mark, I just want to let you know we do have a caller called in, so I thought maybe we want to take that. Is that okay?
Excellent. Let's go for it.
All right. Are we good? Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Lauren.
Hey, Lauren. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. What's your question for Moira or Mark?
It's from Moira, and I was wondering. I was hearing earlier how you said that the association with greed, with the color green, was really important, and I was wondering if you think that the subconscious and conscious associations of a color mean more than the physical vibrations that the color itself gives off in the way that we perceive it. Because I was hearing you say that. Yeah, so, I thought it was super interesting. So
what you're saying, Lauren, hold on one second. What you're saying is, can the subconscious programming and belief trump the normal frequency of a color?
Yes. because I believe that when you're choosing your colors and you're doing it with the intention that you want to heal something in your life and you don't know what it is, your soul takes over. I've watched this, Lauren, thank you for calling in and asking such a fabulous question. I've watched when clients have come to me and they'd say, oh, my favorite color is green and I love green things, and they will not pick a green bottle because the underlying cause of what's causing them the green issues needs to be identified, and they'll pick a bottle that's totally different. We once had a client with cancer, and normally people with cancer will pick colors that are pinks and corals. That you know how they even in people who do charities and that they'll wear the pink ribbons and coral ribbons. So, but they don't go and pick those colors when they come to me, and they work with the colorist, and they will pick what the cause was of the cancer. What was the stress that released the cancer cells to grow in the body? So it's and to me that is when the soul takes over to say, hey, I want you to know why you've got cancer, not to treat just the cause. I want you to treat the effect underneath.
The emotional suppression.
Affect the cause. Sorry, the other way around. My language is terrible this morning. But you get what I'm saying, Tim.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Lauren, that answer your question?
Perfectly. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Have a great day. So you touched this. This is the shadow work. So what you're saying, like Mark was saying, or I know, Mark, do you have a question you wanted to say?
What stood out in Moira's book to me was more about the abundance and attracting abundance. It's so easy to attract non-abundance by saying no to things like, oh, I won't do that because I can't afford it. Subconsciously, we are actually turning our back on abundance. You could explain a little bit about that, Moira, better than me.
Yeah, one of my alert buttons, you don't even have to be especially psychic to pick this up. And once you tune into how your shadow communicates and how it convinces you to create negative events in your life as opposed to the good intentions and those results, is listen to the communication that you have. Your devils have a language. I call it devil, D with an evil dash evil. So there's a language that they speak. And in the book, I touch on that. But on my actual mentoring programs, we have just one-day workshops just focusing on communication, the way people write and communicate. I just had an email from somebody saying to me, I do not want this. And the NOT was in capital letters. That wasn't him communicating with me. That was one of his devils. That was one of his ego devils. And because nobody needs to say that, and if you just say, I do not want this, it's nice. But when you shout it out, that means he's got something deep and dark inside of him that knows that I'm aware of it, so it makes itself visible. People who write emails and posts on Facebook, and they do this ... They split their sentences with ... dots. They don't actually communicate properly. That's not them. I don't bother to read those posts because it's not them writing it. It's one of their devils. When people speak
hold on. So this is fascinating. If true, I mean, it sounds like it would be. So when there are certain ways when people are writing stuff, you can determine whether that's coming from their true source or coming from I don't know, the other ego personalities that are shattered in each person, right? So,
that's right.
And so why would ... be that? Well, how would you know that would be an indicator that's not coming from soul?
Because it's not conscious. Your soul, when you are fully in your soul divine self, you are fully conscious, and you can take responsibility for the communications you put out into the world, the thoughts, the feelings, and which results in your manifestation. It results in your reality. When you're not conscious, you are filling it with gaps and thoughts, and the ... is a space that and when we are fully in our soul, as I'm communicating with you now, because I'm in my I amness, I don't have those pauses that.
Yeah.
Because your shadow has when it steps in and one of your devils steps in, it's going to need pauses to string things together because it's not always conscious. Your soul self is conscious. And when you're in that part of your communication, you are going to be seamless. Does that make sense?
This is my biggest takeaway. Thank you so much, because it just reinforces why it's so important and why it's so hard to be in the present moment. Because when we're in the present moment, really conscious of the present moment, we're coming from source. That's soul. It's when we deviate from that, that's when the little devils come in, huh? Those little devils get in there. Those devilish little...
And then here's the really big important thing, Tim, is when we don't connect with our dark side and we don't make friends with it and we don't actually integrate it and align with it, your shadow side can gain autonomy over your mind. And to me, that is what Alzheimer's and dementia is about.
Wow. So not only you're saying we have to recognize when these suckers pop up, but we have to then embrace them and love them.
Yes, because it won't go away. You know.
We got to love our own demons, you're telling us.
You have to. Yes, you have to.
Most people are running away from their demons. Most people don't even aware the demons are running the show, really.
Exactly. And it's an integration and a loving kindness that you have to have. I've just created a new book which is going to be launched this year called Color Your Shadow. It's a deck of cards, 44 cards, and it's got 44 devil patterns. And that I've recognized in myself and my clients over the last 15 or so years I've been doing shadow work. And the idea is to have people pick a card, look into it and go, okay, this is possibly something that I need to make a friend with within my unconsciousness. It's not something I have to fight or eliminate, because the minute you do that, your shadow side you can't get rid of me, so I'm just going to make it doubly difficult. When you go, hey, I love you and I understand this is how you work, it goes, oh, okay, I suppose I better play along with this bit for a while. So for example, I had a victim and a child, a wounded inner child. And because that was my circumstances growing up, and those two got together, buddied up, and made financial decisions for me. So they would spend money I didn't have. They would lead me down corridors where I would avoid opportunities of doors that were opening up for me. They'd say, "Oh no, you mustn't go there. You can't trust that person. They're going to betray you. They're going to abuse you." So they made a lot of decisions for me as I was growing up, and it took me years to get on top of them. So now, if I hear my inner child come up and say something to me, I go, "I'll deal with you later. We'll have an ice cream later. Right now, I need to do business. I need to take this call. I need to be, present for this opportunity." So we have an inner dialogue.
I would like to touch on that a little bit, Moira, because you've made some really, really great points.
Fascinating.
About loving your inner demons, your inner devil. It's like anything in life. Everything can't always be good. When we're striving for success and having the wins, you have to accept the failure as a whole. So it's a bit like that, I suppose, that you have to accept that we've got good and bad, and it's all part of the full picture. So I really like that. Coming back to your cards, they are amazing. I picked a card. I'm not going to say on live radio what card I picked because it's rather embarrassing, but it was very accurate, wasn't it, Moira?
Yeah. And the thing about our shadows is they're our teachers. We don't learn when everything is bright and light and happy and everybody's dancing around, with bells and whistles and life is in love. And we learn when the times are dark. So when we accept that the shadow is there to teach us something and we then master the lesson, that's when that is when the friendship begins to form. That is when the alignment begins to happen. I used to also have I used to self-sabotage all the time, to be late for things and misplace things and not turn up and finish commitments. I'd start writing a book and not finish it. I would start, saying I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to get nice and thin and then 2 days later I'm eating cake. So I have this self-sabotage energy that's there. And
join the party, honey. Join the party.
When the saboteur comes in now, I go, okay, look, I know you're trying to get me to stop doing this, but it's great. And I either listen or I don't listen, or I pause for a minute. But when you make friends with your inner saboteur is the one that can then be that incredible, sensitive knowing inside of you that says, don't sign that contract, because that's not for you.
So you get these
sharpens
you by integration or by loving it, you get these devils working for you rather than against you.
Yeah, and you turn them into your angels.
So you're not really eliminating them. You're just getting them part of the team now and to working for us to move forward. And you actually, I guess, in a way, aren't you leveling up their frequency?
Yes, absolutely. Because the thing, here's the thing I always teach, because I'm a spiritual teacher. So when I teach people to become spiritual leaders, what I say to them is, as your light amplifies, so does your dark. It always has to match. There always has to be a balance. So you must examine both sides of yourself.
Wow.
Moira, we're coming to the next break. Let's touch back after the break on all of these great points. We've discussed colour, the dark side cards. It's been really interesting. Let's get back to this conversation straight after the commercial break.
Live every day with purpose with the Seeds of Intention Daily Planner.
A goal is just a dream until you write it down. Now, the awesome thing about writing things down is because in a year's time, you can see all of the specific things that are actually in your life right now. You can really chronicle the progression of the relationship and how you got from one goal to the next to the next.
To learn more, go to unitedintentions.org and click on Shop and make the commitment today to make the authentic change. All right, we are back live on the UI Media Network, co-hosting with Mark Stephen Puller. He's a radio host and actually an international best-selling author as well. And our special guest, Moira Bush, and she is a TV host, as well as an educator, international entrepreneur for over 25 years. This has really blown my mind. One thing I really want us to do on Awaken Atlanta, we have a morning show. What time is it over there, Mark, right now with you guys?
It is 4:45 p.m.
Okay. So what time is it at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time?
12:30 noon.
Oh, you could do that, Maura. We could have you on our Awaken Atlanta show, right? You could do that.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll do a show on all types of therapies, on color, sound, everything. So Otis, put that in the books. All right. So Maura, I have a million questions, and they're coming at me just, I guess my soul's here, right? Because they're popping out left and right. So when you're teaching, you're showing somebody, because I know you assist people in understanding the colors, and some people are like, well, I don't have a favorite color, or, I don't know what color works well for me. Outside of you seeing their aura around themselves and can give them some suggestions or advice, I mean, how do they begin this journey of learning how to master their colors?
Oh, very simple. On my website, the moirabush.com website, and on the actual color mirror, the mothership of the colors, colormirrors.com, there's a lot of resources. We have a lot of free resources on all our sites, and anybody associated with color mirrors, if you find them through the colormirrors.com website or through the mymoirabush.com.
Okay, hold on. Which one do you want people to go to? Because we're going to put up on
I have a lot
thirds.
of free resources on the moirabush.com. You might
okay,
want to put
so moirabush.com, put that one up there. Okay, there it is. You're up already.
Some readings, and there are some angel cards you can pick for colors, and each one of the bottles that's actually behind me features on my shop. There's a section called Your Colors. And you can actually just look at the wall of bottles, click on the bottle you like, and a little bottle message will pop up. And these were the original messages when Melissa Jolly made the bottles that comes up with comes up with it. And everybody just says it's so accurate for the moment where they're at.
How did you get into this, Moira? What brought you to do colours and shadow work?
Sex.
You said sex.
So I hadn't seen my husband in England.
Wow. Now we're getting red here. I think sex is red, right?
I hadn't seen him for a while, and he could see auras around people at the time that hadn't been awakened in me yet. And he said he was going to see some woman from South Africa called Melissa Jolly, and he's going to go and learn about colors. And I was like, I haven't seen you for 6 weeks. How can you just come, go see someone else? He said, I'm going with you. And I thought, oh, great, hotel room. We're going to reconnect. We're going to be intimate. So I thought, that's what I'm going for. Anyway, I walked into the hotel room. I saw Melissa Jolly. I saw the color bottles, and that was it. And actually, that was the end of our marriage as well, because he was contracted to get me to this woman.
No kidding.
He contracted to get me from South Africa to England, and him and I've had this conversation after we got divorced. He said that was all I was meant to do, was to get you out of South Africa to England so that you could be responsible to get the color mirror system out into the world.
That's fascinating. Excellent question too, Mark. When I'm looking behind you and I'm seeing all these colors, this reminds me of when I go to my integrative doctors' places, and they have this slew of solutions. If it's a bacteria problem, if it's a viral problem, whatever it may be, you touch the item and you do a muscle test to see if this is that frequency is going to be what you need to heal that ailment, whatever it may be. It must be some type of similar experience like that with the colors, or?
Exactly. You can do muscle testing. You can use dowsing rods, but mostly it's the intuition, because it's that filter of the colors that's around you in your auric field that people pick through. And when they pick their bottle, that tends to be enough for them, and they feel it. I had I think it was 2 weeks ago on the Magenta show, I had a lady come up and she said she feels like she's torn in 4 different directions. She's got these 4 things going on. She didn't know which one to focus on. And I just simply said to her, pick a color bottle for each one of the 4 things that are pulling you in different directions. And then I had her hold each one of those bottles one at a time on her heart. And she had to intuitively feel which was the one that sang to her, which is the one that made her feel blissful.
Wow.
And that's how she decided what her next direction is. So I didn't tell her anything. She figured it out for herself. So I really am just a facilitator. And that's one of the beautiful things about the color mirror system is you can just become a facilitator of this process and hold that sacred space that somebody can find their own solutions. It's very powerful.
Oh, it is. And you do this on the Magenta show. Now, this is your show that you broadcast. Where?
I'm here in Toronto, Canada.
You're in Toronto, okay. And you broadcast on what days and when?
I broadcast on Mondays, 11 o'clock every morning EDT time.
Okay, gotcha. That's I mean, there's so much more you could share with this information where you could take it to whatever level. I assume that each color, based on what your intention is or goal is at that moment, you may want to pull a different color off the shelf to assist in that direction you want to go in. Like, for example, let's do a few basics while we got a little bit of time left. Say I want to find the right spouse or the right girlfriend. What color would I take off?
I wouldn't know, because what will come up is I would ask you a question. I want you to pick a color that you associate with as who you are. And which color do you say you are? And then I'd possibly say to you, okay, now pick a color of the dream person you'd like to attract towards you. And then I'd possibly say, pick a third one that says, well, what's blocking you from getting to that person? What is it that is not causing the attraction factor, the intention to attract that person, for that gateway to open up to meet them?
So no, if you'd have told me that when I was in Canada, Moira.
You're going to come visit again, my darling.
Mark, it would have solved a lot of problems, wouldn't it, if we only knew this information ahead of time, right? I mean, if it was that easy, come on, So,
but it is.
It sounds like it is.
It is. I've had this works for clients. It absolutely does. And then because the bottles have got numerology in them as well and astrology, so you bring other systems into the information. You can figure out what star sign this person's going to be that you meet, and the numbers often give the time frame that says this is the time frame when you're going to meet somebody.
Wow. So if we sat down and I was in that room with you, my first instinct, because I'd overthink it. I'm gold and yellow, you said, so I'm going to overthink. Oh, I don't know. I like that because I don't know. I can't even dress myself, honestly, in the morning. I am so color uncoordinated. It's terrible, right? So I wouldn't even know what to grab up there to say, who I am, nevertheless who I want to be with. I mean, I wouldn't know. How does this?
It just happens intuitively. When you're in the moment and you're in the energy of the system, it just speaks to you. You can't help it. We've never had somebody stand there and go, I don't know what color to pick. They will always pick something.
Okay,
it just happens.
Maybe narrow it down to 3.
Soul comes through.
Maybe I'm overwhelmed looking behind you. Maybe narrow it down to 3 colors for me, and then maybe I could do it. I don't know. That's just my.
Yeah. You got to pick it.
Yeah, I know, right? So also about career. What if you want to focus on your career?
Yeah. If I'm allowed to move the camera, I'll take it close to the shelves, and you can tell me which one you're drawn to.
Okay, for which intention?
For you to pick a bottle for what? You can ask any question you want.
Okay.
Right. What's your question?
My question is, let me think of a question here. If I'm to get married someday.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You want to get married? You're asking, will you get married?
Will I get married?
Will you get married? Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pan across the bottles here. And if there's anything you like here, you tell me to stop.
I like that one. I like that one in the center, that blue yellow. Yes.
That one?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We have a bottle. We have a conversation. Okay.
Boy, we should have done this in the beginning of the show.
Otis had me set up. He's going to be a little annoyed with me now. Otis, I hope I'm okay. Okay, your production team. So this bottle is called Trust. So the turquoise at the top is to do with a mixture of your blue of your throat and the green of the heart. And then, of course, you've got that yellow underneath that says that previous relationships, there's been betrayals. and your heart has been betrayed. So you're a little nervous about getting involved with anybody that you don't trust. So you've got a lot of, like, your shadow side has a lot of feelers up that says don't trust this person, or there's something about them that feels off or doesn't feel right. And it could be the right person, but because your shadow side's interfering and saying you can't trust them, it's going to stop you.
Wow.
From pursuing a relationship.
It is this easy. This is crazy. I really think you nailed it.
Yeah. And the type of person that you need to be involved with, the numbers on here is 25. It's 2 plus 5. So that makes it 7. So this says that the only person that will actually satisfy you is somebody who's spiritual, because 7 is the number of somebody who's spiritual and actively seeking to expand themselves and their consciousness with spiritual principles and teachings. So you need to meet a spiritual teacher.
Wow.
Who's 25 years old.
Mark,
not me.
You got, is that numerology or is that the age? Okay, I get it. Yeah, that's funny. But that is wonderful. We got a few minutes. We got a few minutes left. Mark, she's blown my mind. Really has. You have some questions for her, Mark, before we go?
I would just highly recommend her book to all of the viewers. You can open on any page and it will give you a little reading where you have picked the page.
Hold that up again.
It's quite accurate.
And I'd like to offer your readers a free copy if they would like one.
Absolutely. I want one. Come on, forget my readers. Send it to me.
Excellent. So so if they go to the moirabush.com and they do / free book, what will come up is a landing page where they can get the book for free and they only pay for shipping. So
so the website that we have on the site, go there /
free book.
Free book. And then they'll be able to get the free book. That's wonderful.
That's right. Yes. And there's a chapter they can download as an ebook as well. And that's free as well. So they only pay for shipping.
Wow.
Before we finish this show, Moira, what are you working on at the moment? What's new, upcoming? What exciting things?
Well, I'm pursuing more media work. I'm pursuing more public speaking events, because I got a standing ovation this last weekend, and actually just talking about Satori. And people just loved it, and shadow work, and it was at a business seminar. But the other thing I'm doing is in August, we're not actually filming the Magenta Show. We're taking a break, and we are going to be filming courses to go on my online academy. We would like to launch that at the end of the summer.
Wow.
Exciting.
That is very exciting. This is the energy. This is the time for people such as yourself, Maura, as I'm sure you already realize. And when you have more success, we all have more success. So thank you so much. Mark, you want to take us out of here?
Yes, I certainly will. Everyone, thank you for listening today on the UI Media Radio Network. Moira, thank you for being such an incredible guest, and it's been great having you on the show today. Until next time, Tim, thank you. Everyone, remember to tune in Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time on the Good Intentions Show, interviewing personal trainer and Body by J owner, Janaea Davis. Also, be sure to watch the Soulful Family Show, Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Cheryl Andrea will interview author and speaker Eileen Dillon. Thank you, everyone, for watching the Good Intentions Show.
You have been listening to the Good Intentions Show on the UI Radio Network. The Good Intentions Show is sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation at unitedintentions.org. Look for us on Blog Talk, Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, and many more. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram under United Intentions, and on Twitter at Higher Intention. Be sure to log on to unitedintentions.org, a virtual community where you learn to create, track, and manifest your passions, one intention at a time. Have a wonderful day, and until next time, live life with intent. The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.